Have you ever met someone who always seems to be the victim? Someone who insists that the universe is conspiring against them, that they're always dealt the worst cards, and that they are the unluckiest person on earth. Yet despite the constant complaints and finger-pointing, they never seem to take a step towards changing their circumstances. This constant state of playing the victim, this perpetual cycle of blame, resentment, and inaction, is more than just an annoying personality trait. It's a deeply ingrained psychological mindset that can be detrimental to personal growth, happiness, and fulfillment. Welcome back to our channel, where we dissect complex philosophical and psychological concepts to give you insights into human nature. In today's video, we're delving into the psychology of the perpetual victim. We'll explore why some people get trapped in this self-defeating mindset, and more importantly, how they, and perhaps you, if you recognize these traits in yourself, can break free and chart a path towards self-improvement and personal empowerment. Victim mentality is a psychological term referring to a type of dysfunctional mindset which seeks to feel persecuted in order to gain attention or avoid self-responsibility. People who see themselves as a victim often believe that they are at the mercy of a cruel world, that their misfortunes are due to external factors over which they have no control. Of course, life is not always fair, and bad things do happen to good people. However, those with a victim mentality tend to perceive negative events not as isolated incidents, but as a never-ending cycle of oppression that they can't escape. But why do some people fall into this destructive thought pattern? The roots often trace back to early life experiences. Maybe they had overprotective parents who shielded them from every potential failure, or perhaps they endured trauma that left them feeling powerless. Whatever the case, these individuals often feel that the world owes them something, yet it's always out to get them. However, despite the evident negativities, the victim mentality can also be oddly comforting. The comfort of victimhood. Playing the victim has its perverse comforts. It's a form of emotional blackmail. It elicits sympathy, attention, and validation. It's a way to manipulate others, to get them to fulfill one's needs without putting in any effort oneself. But these short-term benefits come with a heavy price. The long-term consequences of chronic unhappiness, unfulfilled potential, and perpetual dissatisfaction with life. But the good news is, this mindset is not a life sentence. It's possible to break free from the chains of victimhood and reclaim control of one's life. And this brings us to the next part of our video. Breaking free from the victim mentality is by no means an overnight process. It's a journey that demands effort, patience, and resilience. Let's break down some of the most critical steps that one needs to take. The first and perhaps the most challenging step is acknowledging the existence of the victim mentality. It involves honest introspection and the courage to recognize and admit that one is perpetuating a cycle of negativity. It's about acknowledging that while external circumstances may not always be within our control, how we respond to them is. The second step is understanding the underlying reasons behind this mindset. Is it a coping mechanism for trauma or a learned behavior from childhood? Uncovering the roots of the victim mentality can provide crucial insights into how it manifests and how to address it. The third step is taking responsibility for our actions and reactions. This is not about blaming oneself, but about empowering oneself. By taking responsibility, we recognize that we have the power to influence our circumstances, to respond rather than react. The fourth step involves reframing negative thoughts. Instead of seeing the world as a hostile place where bad things are bound to happen, we can choose to see challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. This shift in perspective can dramatically alter how we experience life. The fifth step is to cultivate resilience and perseverance. Changing ingrained patterns of thought and behavior is tough, and setbacks are almost inevitable. However, it's important to keep going, to keep trying, and to keep believing in the possibility of change. The final step is seeking support when needed. It's okay to ask for help, whether it's from trusted friends or family, or from a professional therapist or counselor. You're not alone in this journey, and there's no shame in reaching out. Remember, each person's journey out of the victim mentality will be unique, and progress may be slow, but each step taken is a step closer to a more empowered, fulfilling life. In an attempt to better understand this frame of mind, we must first acknowledge one key factor: the allure of the victim status. It's important to understand that this status comes with its own set of benefits, or rather, perceived benefits. This can include garnering sympathy from others, abdication of personal responsibility, or even a unique sense of identity. Consider the scenario where the victim believes they are uniquely targeted by life's hardships. This thought process can contribute to an inflated sense of self-importance. The irony is that this mentality often leads to stagnation, as it's easier to accept a role of helplessness rather than embracing the challenge of self-improvement and change. There's a fascinating psychological concept known as learned helplessness. This occurs when an individual continuously faces negative, uncontrollable situations and eventually stops trying to change their circumstances, even when opportunities for change become available. It's as if they've learned to be helpless. This pattern of learned helplessness can often be seen in those who consistently adopt a victim mentality. Their reality becomes so intertwined with their perceived victimhood that it's almost impossible to distinguish where one ends and the other begins. This reality distortion field acts as both a protective bubble and a prison, insulating them from the harsh truths they need to face and trapping them in a cycle of self-pity and inaction. Now let's shift our focus to the societal and cultural factors that contribute to the perpetuation of the victim mentality. It's important to recognize that our society often encourages this mindset, sometimes without even realizing it. In an era where social media platforms dominate, we are constantly bombarded with other people's highlight reels. This comparison game can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and reinforce a belief that one is perpetually disadvantaged. The victim then becomes trapped in an endless cycle of comparison and self-pity, fueling their victim narrative. Furthermore, our culture frequently rewards victimhood. Empathy, sympathy, and support are often provided to those who seem to be suffering the most, sometimes leading individuals to exaggerate or wallow in their problems to receive these emotional rewards. While these supports are essential for genuine sufferers, they can become a crutch for those with a victim mentality, further discouraging them from taking responsibility and instigating positive change in their lives. Moreover, societal narratives often portray the victim as a noble figure, as seen in many books, movies, and TV shows. While this can be true in specific contexts, it can also inadvertently glamorize the role of the victim, leading some to unconsciously seek out this role to gain sympathy or validation. In this analysis, it's crucial to remember that we're not dismissing the validity of real victims or their experiences. Instead, we're highlighting how certain societal and cultural factors can create a fertile ground for the victim mentality to flourish. In relationships, individuals with a victim mentality often seek validation of their pain and seek to share their suffering with others. They have a need for others to acknowledge their victimhood, which can be emotionally draining for those around them. Instead of seeking solutions, they revel in their problems, which can create tension and distance in their relationships. At work, individuals with a victim mindset can create a toxic environment. They might blame others for their lack of success or for any challenges they face, refusing to take responsibility for their actions. They might also resist constructive criticism, seeing it as an attack rather than an opportunity to grow and improve. Socially, the victim mentality can lead to isolation. If a person continually expresses their misfortunes and refuses to improve, it can push people away. Their constant negativity can be too much for others to bear, leading them to distance themselves. In conclusion, the victim mentality is more than just a phase or a passing mood. It's a deeply ingrained way of interpreting the world that often stems from early life experiences and learned behaviors. This mindset can significantly limit one's potential, creating a vicious cycle of failure, blame, and self-pity. However, recognizing and acknowledging this mindset is the first crucial step towards transformation. Understanding that we are not merely passive recipients of life's challenges, but active participants who can influence our own circumstances is key. Remember, life inevitably brings hardships. It's how we respond to these challenges that defines us, not the challenges themselves. Rather than dwelling on our misfortunes, we can choose to learn from them and turn them into opportunities for growth. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the victim mentality. We hope this analysis helps shed some light on a complex psychological phenomenon. If you found this information insightful, please give this video a like, share it, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into human psychology and philosophy. Remember, everyone has the power to change their perspective and their life. Don't allow yourself to be trapped in a victim mentality. Be your own hero. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.